Star 570, Judy Ann 745, Imbazira 130, Tennessee Vane 520, St Clair 1865, Sister Shirley 735, Sandy's Pleasure 385, Top Date 920, Julep $20.25, Concordance very short 270, our Vézelay $13, Shells 29, and Arworth at $90.60. And I think the horse to watch in the Oak Stakes is Imbazira, and I'm just repeating here, we have a double protest at Flemington. It's third against second and first for alleged interference over the last 100 metres on race 4. Imbazira's run in the Wakeful was very good. You can see that she's giving Sandy's Pleasure about 5 lengths at this stage. Brent brings her to the outside. Sandy's Pleasure had used a lot of petrol in the early stages. She'd bolted away from Jim Cassidy. Tennessee Vane looked to have every chance. She's taken a split and gone to the rail. Bianco Fly struggling fourth, and here's Imbazira. Now she hangs in. Thompson has to stop riding her 2 or 3 times. She's about to...
And meets all these fillies on much better terms than when she ran in the Wakeful Stakes on Saturday. I really think she's got a little bit still to do, though, because her form seems to be so much better on a slightly rain-affected track, and certainly she's got very hard conditions today. One who certainly, in my book, will get the trip, but just, I think, the track may be a little bit against her.
Number 3 is Judy Ann, K. Moses.
Yes, this Sydney filly has very good form. From 9 starts, she's had 2 wins and 3 minor placings. She was 4th in the Carbine Club Stakes here over 1,600 metres. She's by Gosh, and of course that sire line suggests that she might be struggling to run out 2,500 metres. But
the favourite to be ridden by Brent Thompson, Imbazira.
Well, Imbazira is just standing at the edge of the mounting yard waiting to come into the yard, Phil. Imbazira was a very, very gutsy third in the 1,000 guineas.
Previous race on protest will soon be mounting this filly. Tennessee Vane, she's by Whiskey Road, the sire of Strawberry Road. She's
ran an even race in the Wakeful Stakes on Saturday, but she's another one I think might just be struggling to get today.
7 is Sister Shirley, Pat Highland.
Yes, 4th in the Wakeful behind Imbazira. She carried 54 kilos in.
Sandy's Pleasure got right away from Jim Cassidy and led by many, many lengths, which they didn't quite want to do in the Wakeful Stakes, but still hung on extremely well. I give her an each-way chance.
Thank you, Vivian. I like that thought. Number 9 is Top Date, K. Russell.
Yes, Ken Russell, formerly top rider on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, is riding Top Date, and a last start winner of the Oaks Trial Stakes at Geelong.
Stakes, but was beaten about 4.5 lengths, so I think Julep's one that would have to make up quite a bit of ground in this, but by the great stallion.
It's a very interesting runner, Concordance. This New Zealand filly arrived here on Sunday with Empire Rose, who was runner-up in the Melbourne Cup. There has been a lot of backing for Concordance. She's
a very good second in the Geelong Oaks trial, and we've seen that race be a good trial for the Oaks. One that I would think would get the trip certainly, and not without a place chance.
Wells hasn't really any form to recommend. The filly is from South Australia. She finished...
Well, By Masqué, I think, was probably going to have a little bit of difficulty running out the 1.5 miles, and recent form really hasn't been...
Gary Willits will know all about her. And Diamond Shower last year in 86. Gary Willits has joined Des Spain and myself for the race.
Flyer, although I feel as though she's a little bit suspect at the journey, but coming, she's going to have a great chance, but there's a concern.
1987. Group 1, $300,000. Light on, ready. Racing. Imbazira ran in a bit at the start, seemed to miss it a bit. Shell, she's dropped out early, and Sandy's Pleasure ridden in behind early. As they settle down, Julep led it, and Harry coming across on Concordance, the New Zealand filly, to lead them. St Clair third, Tennessee Vane the inside, our Vézelay trap deep. Bianco Fly going up 3 wide, Arworth to centre, Tennessee Vane, then on the fence, Judy Ann Imbazira. Top Date trap deep, Sandy's Pleasure, a big surprise, it's last and checked early. Sister Shirley back second last, and Shells the rail. Concordance, the New Zealander, who only arrived on Sunday, leads at the 2,000. 3/4 Bianco Fly, St Clair the rail, no pace on. 2 to Julep, a half away our Vézelay, 1 to Tennessee Vane on the inside of Arworth. Imbazira's dropped the bit nicely in the centre, Top Date trap 3 deep on the rail, Judy Ann. 1 to Sandy's Pleasure, a half length away on the fence to Shells, and a length and a half away Sister Shirley. 15 lengths cover them at the 1,700, and Concordance bowling along a length, Bianco Flyer going a right, a half St Clair. 1 away Julep, 4th, who's had a nice run, our Vézelay the outside, Tennessee Vane the rail. A length to Arworth, Judy Ann the inside, Imbazira just inclined to pull a bit with Top Date 3 deep outside of her. 1 away Shells on the rail, 1 to Sandy's Pleasure second last, and Sister Shirley. Almost 20 lengths cover them at the 1300. And Concordance has dropped the bit nicely to lead Bianco Flyer and Sinclair. Wonder Julep, a length, Tennessee Vane, Al Vezelay, then Judy Ann. Impazira improving as top date now cuts loose around them. Then Isleworth, Sandy's Pleasure tacking up Impazira. Shell second last and Sister Shirley with them in. Going up past 1,000. And Concordance about 3/4 to Bianco Flyer, Sinclair, Judy Ann. Top date's been off the track throughout. Tennessee Vane's had a beautiful run on the rail. Al Vezelay. Impazira starting to improve on the outside from Judy Ann, the fence. Sandy's Pleasure starting to make a run around Impazira. Thompson let it go too. Then Sister Shirley and Shells before the turn at the 600. And Concordance led. Here's Sandy's Pleasure, top date and Julep all going. Brent hasn't quite gone on Impazira, though he's very wide, and Bianco Flyer into the straight. Concordance and Sandy's Pleasure together. Impazira's coming with a run, and so's Bianco Flyer, Sinclair and Tennessee Vane. In the straight, Concordance tackled by Sandy's Pleasure, Bianco Flyer. Impazira's a length and a half away, and Tennessee Vane. Bianco Flyer took a narrow lead. Tennessee Vane, Impazira and Sandy's Pleasure's cugging back very strongly. Sandy's Pleasure, Tennessee Vane and Impazira. Sandy's Pleasure a half in front. Impazira's trying to get a Sandy's Pleasure and Tennessee Vane. Sandy's Pleasure's in front. Jimmy Cassidy wins the Oaks. Second, Tennessee Vane. Maybe Sinclair, Impazira, dead heat for third. Then Judy Ann. Behind those horses would have been Julep with top date, Al Vezelay, Sister Shirley, Isleworth, Shells, and also Concordance in front of those. What a brilliant ride. Absolutely first class, wasn't it, Gary?
It's a settling, huh? He actually snagged her when he jumped out. He's be 2 lengths behind them when he's hit the ground, got over, and then going round past the 2,200 metre mark, she was still pulling hard, and she finished up racing 3 wide, which, you know, was very hard for her to do. I thought Mick Ditton's ride on Tennessee Vane, you know, he's a brilliant rider, Mick. He had her on the fence, made the right moves, and just, I think, being by Vane, just couldn't see it out.
Whiskey Road.
Whiskey Road, out of a
Vane mare, of course, and it was a good ride by Dittman, but Des Cassidy had a big decision to make, of course, with Sandy's Pleasure, whether or not he'd lead or try and hold her up. Now, number 6 has got third, number 6 Sinclair, and the pressure was right on here at the distance.
Well, it was, yes, and here it is. And, I thought that at this stage that Tennessee Vane was going to collar Sandy's Pleasure because it had made that fast run, Sandy's, from way back in the field. Well, Leah last going past the 2,000 metre mark. Impazira was settling, ready to go, but couldn't. And Sandy's Pleasure did exactly the same as the other day. Fought on when looked like being beaten, and it was a great effort to win, and there are the totes.
395 and 120 the interims. Tennessee drawn
number
2 from
30.
the outside.
Oh, yes, well, you can see him sit up very high there and pull the horse right back. Of course, on the outside, which was Concordance, went to the lead, and the other one went to the back, and it was the exact opposite to what I thought might happen, because, as you said, Gary, in
3 years in England trying to develop their style, and I think he's just having trouble coming back here and to try and get back into the Australian style.
I noticed yesterday, funnily enough, at Kyneton, he started at the top of the straight, hitting I'm a Red Man, similar fashion, and then all of a sudden he just decided, I'm going to revert to the old state, and it was unbelievable how much I'm a Red Man answered his call.
That's right, and I noticed when he won on Lord Dreams in the Caulfield Cup, he rode Australian style all the way up the straight that day and got the money.
Dittman's ride was superb on Tennessee Vane. He didn't miss. Sandy's Pleasure 395 120, Tennessee Vane 145, Sinclair 520, Quinella 1990, Trifecta 1,266 even, and the running double $23. And Jimmy Cassidy in Victoria Place at Arcus. We see Jim Cassidy with Sandy's Pleasure. Jim's the leading rider so far at the carnival with 4. He rode the Derby winner Saturday, the Gadsden Stakes winner, and the Carbine Club Stakes winner, and today he's won on the Oaks Stakes winner, Sandy's Pleasure. Neville Begg, of course, has always been a top trainer, and particularly with fillies.